I find it fascinating how a lot of pro wrestling fans out there hate the word sports entertainment because realistically, that's what professional wrestling is. When you're watching on a week to week basis, it's kind of like watching a sitcom. It's like watching a movie. You know, you're paying attention to storylines, you're watching things evolve, and then you're waiting for the payoff. And sometimes you get the payoff that you want, and sometimes you don't. But the reality is, that's typically what keeps people invested on a week to week basis. And historically speaking, with AEW, I've said this so many times, but when they really hone in on the sports entertainment aspect of things, they actually do a really good job with it, right? It incentivizes me to keep watching because I want to see what happens next. And that's exactly what's been happening with the evolution of MJF and Adam Cole as a tag team. Now, obviously, some people are going to be against it. I'm seeing a mixed reaction tonight on social media, but I feel like MJF and Adam Cole have been absolutely on fire. And whoever is producing this, whoever is coming up with these ideas, whoever is contributing to this is doing a phenomenal job because deep down inside, this is one of the biggest things I am invested in currently as a wrestling fan. When I look at AEW and I look at Dynamite tonight, we get this like video package vignette type of thing where Adam Cole and MJF hanging out, being best friends. They're at a trampoline area. You know, it's like Sky Zone or whatever it is. You know, they got the trampolines, and one of the little girls is talking shit to Adam Cole and MJF, and she calls them out for being adults, and she calls them nerds. Like, why are they there? And it turns into this really funny thing where MJF and Adam Cole are playing dodgeball with these kids. And look, it's so funny because a lot of people, if they were watching WWE and they saw this, they would say that it's cringe. And some people are, by the way, but some people would say this is cringe, this is stupid, whatever. But basically, AEW is getting you to feel and think differently about MJF as a performer. And MJF, this entire time since being in AEW, he's always been conniving. He's always been this evil guy. He's always been this very good bad guy. And now you're starting to see a glimpse of him being a good guy. And you're seeing a glimpse of him being a funny guy and a little bit more vulnerable at times. And it's actually getting people invested. It's getting me invested because I don't genuinely know how the end of this storyline is going to pan out. And I think that's why I'm so hooked on it. Now, to give you some context on tonight's episode of Dynamite, Adam Cole and MJF both go to the ring, and Adam Cole and MJF, they definitely get in some funny lines. MJF got everybody on social media talking because he says that Adam Cole is pale white. Kind of looks like something that Hulk Hogan would have snorted in the 80s. It was a funny line, right? And obviously big pop. The crowd loved it. And then, you know, Adam Cole basically says he wants to make history at All In. And, you know, the thing is, at All In 0 Hour, AEW has this plan for Adam Cole and MJF to challenge for the ROH Tag Team Championships at Aussie against Aussie Open. And, you know, it's an interesting idea because the idea of them doing double duty, it's pretty insane, right? If you think about it, these guys potentially being on the pre-show, potentially winning the tag team championship belts for ROH, and then going to the main event, we're going to have a title match for the world title. Clearly something big has to happen here, right? Either MJF is going to turn or maybe Adam Cole is going to turn. But that's why this actually works out so well, because on a week-to-week basis, we're so invested in this evolution of them as a tag team, and we're seeing different personality traits because of them being paired together. At some point, we know something is going to happen, and what is it going to be that happens? And I think most of that is going to culminate at All In. So I'm actually hooked in to this idea. And then what's really cool is that AEW, they're factoring in Roddy Strong, who obviously has that history with Adam Cole. And I could totally be wrong here, but as I watch this story develop, I genuinely don't know if AEW is going to keep MJF as a heel. Like, it could potentially work for him to be a babyface. And I'm starting to get the impression with the way everything is panning out that Adam Cole is going to be the guy that ends up hurting MJF. And how do they go about that, right? When you look at Roddy Strong getting involved and the way he's acting, part of me thinks maybe this could be a thing where Roddy Strong and potentially maybe Kyle O'Reilly comes back from injury. maybe we get Roddy, Kyle, and Adam Cole. And I don't even really want to speculate too much on Bobby Fish because his whole situation and you know, when he left AEW, it was so weird and chaotic. But I'm thinking there could be a plan where Adam Cole goes and becomes the number one heel in the company by turning on MJF. Because essentially by him turning on MJF, MJF is letting his guard down, right? He's opening up himself to Adam Cole. So by that happening, part of me is thinking, damn, they might do the undisputed elite or whatever they want to call them, right? Maybe they want to make them the number one heel group on the show. And it could work. If MJF is babyface and he actually gets turned on, it could really amount to some really good storylines and some really good television. And I'm telling you, it doesn't work without the sports entertainment aspect of it. You know, these guys on AEW, they're all great wrestlers, but I've said it, when AEW has continuous story building on a week-to-week basis, and they're really developing these characters and really evolving these characters, and there's continuity, it turns out to be really good television. And you've seen this in certain aspects back in the day with the Pinnacle and Wardlow. You saw this a little bit with Jericho Appreciation Society. And you see this, you know, you obviously saw with Hangman Page and the Dark Order and the Elite and things like that too. But we're really seeing it right now unfold with Adam Cole and MJF. And I think it's great. I think it's really, really good. I think this is the type of stuff that gets people hooked in. And, you know, you could talk about WWE and sports entertainment as much as you want, but I think the reality is when you have continuity on a week-to-week basis and you're really mapping out a story long-term, and it does, when I say long-term, we're not talking 3 years like the Bloodline stuff, but you give it a couple of months and you really build upon it. Every single week there's updates. You're seeing this continuous flow of development. You know, I think this is the right way to do professional wrestling. And I think that's the reason why I typically enjoy WWE. And I think AEW, when they do it, it works out really good for them. But when they don't do it, I just don't have as much interest, you know? And you're starting to see this a little bit more prominently in 2023 with AEW. You are. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like they don't do it. It's not perfect. They have a couple great stories under development. I mean, you could even throw in Jungle Boy into the mix. But Adam Cole and MJF are delivering really good television. And I thought the split was going to happen before, and it didn't happen, and that's why I'm leaning towards All In. That's a massive main event. Now, to be fair, I don't really give a shit about the ROH Tag Team Championship belt, so I do feel like that is a questionable decision, but I feel like that has to be a layer in which that will set up whatever ends up happening in the main event. And if that's the case, I'm okay with it. So yeah, what did you guys think about MJF and Adam Cole? You guys interested? You guys disinterested? I'm seeing a mixed response on social media, so I want to know what you guys think in my comment section down below.